Hello. We're
Hi,
on.
we're on, we're live.
We were
Welcome,
just having a
everybody.
little chit chat before the countdown started, so sorry if we're a little scattered as usual.
Well, and I was giggling during the countdown because, we're both off stage, but we have a little square down there and we're
Yep,
both bebopping to the
I
music.
was. I was like jamming out. You're not supposed to tell me you see me do that stuff. I think I was doing that the other night on something too. I was like getting into the countdown music.
Oh, yeah, you
So
have
I'm not
to.
sure if we have anybody in yet.
Well, we have a comment. I see a comment.
Oh, you do?
Jessica, my sweetie, and
Oh, there we
Sylvia.
go. Oh, good.
Hi,
Hello, ladies.
lovely. So, yes, we do have a few coming to hang
Good.
out with Get Real with Deb and Dana. And
Yes.
and Ron.
Hello.
Hey, Ron.
So tonight I'm going to start talking about it because this is a subject where
Please.
we're probably going to go in like 12 different directions as usual, but it's a pretty interesting topic. Is prophetic dreams, or if you'd rather, visions um, that I've experienced. Um, I'm not going to sit here and say I get them every year, but the ones that I have gotten, and I will tell those stories, have been really profound. Um, and I don't try to have these. So it's not like I'm meditating to do it. It just like will stop me in my tracks. And Deb and I were talking before we started this, and her daughter, did I just call her out?
Yes,
She has
Monica.
some family experience with this stuff.
Yes.
And probably a few of her own tales to tell. But
Mhm.
um, basically, you know, prophetic is the word we're going to use. I know there's some touchy people we're not sitting here calling ourselves prophets by any means. So I'd like to clear that right off the table. That's just the general term for this type of thing. So um, I'm curious, Deb, have you had anything that you would consider that, even if it's small, because they don't have to be great big things
Right,
to see in advance?
right. And yes, I've had some. I haven't had like real big earth shattering. Oh my God, this is going to happen. I can
Right.
tell you that, usually it's before something like Ukraine.
Yes. Okay.
I
Gotcha.
did then. It's usually something really negative.
Okay. So, like about the Ukraine thing, though, did you know it was Ukraine, or did you just know it was a foreign territory that was going to have that type
Yeah,
of
I
thing?
could see this happening, and I during the dream I heard Russia.
Oh,
Did
really?
but it was like this is weird. And for me, when I do these, it's almost like lucid dreaming. Like my brain is saying, "This is weird.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
remember this when you wake up."
Right.
Um, I didn't know what country was going to be hit,
Hmm.
or if it was going to happen, if it was something from the past. None of that was clear, but I saw a lot of violence. And
Okay.
I actually, when I woke up, I was sick to my stomach.
Okay. I think, you know, mine go back quite a few years. Some of them small, some of them not small at all. Yes, Robert agreed. Sometimes it's days ahead, sometimes it's a couple of weeks ahead of time. Mine have fallen where I blow it off by that point. Like I'm just being a drama queen in my own sleep or whatever,
Right.
where you don't want to really believe that's going to happen. Then all of a sudden, there it is. Again, some of mine are when I'm asleep, some of them are not. Sometimes I'm walking through a grocery store and I basically get hit and I literally stop. But it's very brief, but I see a lot in that minute of, that blip that comes through.
Mhm.
Um, One of my first ones, or one of the ones I'll talk about as an example of an awake one was when I was still married. My husband and I used to go up to some property that my family has in northern Wisconsin. And we were coming out of the house and getting into the car. And when I turned to shut my door, I looked out the window, and instead of the window, I was seeing New York City. And I knew it was New York because I'd been there. And an airplane sitting down on the street. So it's not 9/11 like it happened, but I knew it was not good. Something not good involving a plane was going to be happening. And I gasped and I said to my husband what I saw. And he was like, whatever. I'm like, I'm telling you, something's going to happen in New York. That was exactly a week before 9/11,
Wow.
to the minute of the first building being hit, because I wrote it down.
Wow.
So that's what I'm talking about. Not everything is like, and it was super brief, but I had enough information from it to know something with an airplane in New York City was going to happen. And I knew it wasn't good. So,
Right.
that's a little bit of hi, Terry. That's a little bit of an example of the kind of awake ones that I've had.
Mhm.
But I've also had them when I'm asleep. So why they come through differently maybe than like when I do readings. I'm not a person that meditates. I need to be more disciplined.
I wish you wouldn't say that in front of me. No,
I'm sorry because I knew it was going to
I'm
get
kidding.
again, I kind of, I just do me, and so
Mhm.
I'm not, following any particular thing. So how it comes to me, it's just boom, and there it is. I would say the last couple of years, especially, um, earthquakes.
Ooh.
Actually, the last year it's been worse. Like I'm actually feeling myself shake. Like I feel like I'm doing this. I'm not, but I feel like I am, or the chair I'm sitting on feels like it is.
Mhm.
This happened to me at a group
Wow.
read that I did. I'm like, that's what I felt like. And I'm like, they're like, what's wrong? I probably look like some movie psychic person that's like dramatic. And I'm like, I think there's going to be an earthquake somewhere. And then I was trying to see where it was, and I reported it. I have two people I report to these type of things to keep me in check because I think that's important. I
Mhm.
don't want to say something and just because I had that experience, does that mean it's going to happen? Not necessarily. Most of the time it does,
Mhm.
but not always. And I think
So,
that's
Dana,
too. Yes.
do you recommend number one, people write things down when they get
Oh my
these?
God.
Um,
That's like, I annoy every client I have by telling them, keep a notebook. I don't care if you think you're psychic or not. Everybody is. I don't care
mhm.
if you have something like that, or you have an inkling that's so strong that you can't shake it, or you see something even very briefly, write it down. Write the day, the time, and what you saw, and keep track
Perfect.
of that stuff.
I feel the same way, and I tell people the same
Mhm.
thing. Write it down. Every single detail,
Yep.
colors, odors. If you see a clock, note the time, all of that.
All of that.
Um, so definitely, and I figured you probably were on the same page there. But
Yeah.
also, I think it's interesting, and I like the fact that you have two people that you report to.
Mhm.
Do you
One's a
recommend?
skeptic too, by the way.
That's probably a
On
good thing.
purpose. On purpose, I picked that person.
Do you think people that do this often should have that?
I can't make anybody else's choices. I'm not going to judge somebody that doesn't, because some people just don't
Hmm.
want to talk about it, probably. I feel like if you're going to be like trumpeting it, you shouldn't. There's really nothing you can do about something like 9/11 that was going to happen with or without me. You know,
Right,
if there's
right.
people I see that I know that are involved in what I'm seeing, I would say something to those people.
Hmm.
But I think it's important to check yourself. Always keep yourself check yourself. Make sure you're not getting too dramatic with your own self. Make sure that you're actually staying on tasks. Yes, I did see this. Yes, it's been confirmed by these two people or by whatever. I think that keeps you honest. And I think if you're wrong, it helps you reassess where you're at too, if you do get these types of things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that
I'm not
makes
trying to sound
perfect sense.
creepy at all.
No, I just, it's good advice to give out. I wouldn't have thought of that. I've never done that. I mean, I'll tell like my husband, or maybe I'll
Yeah,
tell my daughter, you know what I mean? But it's probably a good idea to have at least a few people that you can talk to.
it's
I mean,
just good.
if that resonates with you.
It's just good to keep yourself in check too. Again, I don't want to see half the stuff that I have seen in that fashion. I don't want to own that all by myself either.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to address this with
Mm-hmm.
Jessica. She's actually a dear friend of mine. And she said, I had a dream about crashing my car into a tree. I chalked it up to an accident I had early that year. 1 month later, I told my daughter that I felt something bad was going to happen to her. Ooh, okay. Anyways, little break for Deb.
Oh,
So
Jessica.
this did happen, and she lost her daughter.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
And this is something I know she's highly intuitive. What would you advise for her? I mean, should she be journaling all of this stuff that she gets? Or,
That's a personal choice. I mean, I would say yes. That's just my honest opinion. I hate that happened to you, by the way, Jessica. I
and I
can't even
love you,
begin to
Jess.
tell you how much I hate that. Sorry. But because of how profound that vision was, and if you've had that, I'm assuming you've likely had others. Some of them aren't catastrophic in nature. Some of them might be helpful in nature. For instance, you dream or you have this pop of, I really need to check the battery in my car. And there really is no prelude to that. The next day you get up, your battery's dead. It's kind of like a little tap on the shoulder from the universe or someone else out there. That's the kind of stuff that you need to write down that actually happened to you. I think proving to yourself that you're seeing these things, and again, with that experience, you already know. But for other people too, I think it's important to look at it and say, you know what? I did see that. This is not all in my head. I saw this happen before it happened. So yes, I encourage people to keep track. Keep track of yourself. There she's saying, okay. So she's saying, I'm told I am in my coworker's dreams as well with her daughter. So yes, start writing that stuff down. If you're not already, Jessica, that's what I would do.
Yeah. And I may have told her, but
messages coming through that as well for you from those people. So,
and to follow that up, we'll put up Debbie's comment. People who have passed.
That I would consider a visitation dream, which is
thank you, Debbie.
Not necessarily prophetic unless they're telling you, like, Debbie, don't twist your ankle out in the yard. In that case, I would be like, yes, listen to that.
Right.
But it could be visitation too, Deb, just like, hey, how are you type of thing. Here we are. If they're doing something specific or something that's showing a place where you might be going in the next couple of weeks, that's what I'd pay attention to as well.
Yeah.
Yes, Daddy, I 100% would journal.
Right.
I hate journaling. Let me just do a disclaimer here. I do not practice what I preach. I should, as far as journaling, because I find
honest.
it tedious. I have to be honest.
I know. That's that's where our name comes from, right?
Yeah.
We're both terribly honest to a fault.
I find it very tedious, and that's another reason, though, Deb, why I have those two people, because
Mhm.
they write it down for me.
Love it. We all need friends like that, right?
But it's
Right?
also it's a double edged. It's both reasons,
Hmm.
because I have so much I'm doing normally that, yeah. So it's interesting how many people have had, and I think that happens with most people. Just like I said, psychic ability.
Hmm.
I think everybody's got it. It's to what degree, how much you
Right.
use it,
And what area?
in what
Um,
area, right?
like you brought up my daughter,
Mhm.
Monica, whom
I
most
love
most of
Monica.
my friends know. I love Monica
She's
too. She's
lovely. She's
amazing,
so pretty.
totally amazing. And
Hmm.
she has a lot of abilities as well. Now, would she feel comfortable sitting and doing a mediumship reading for people? Probably not. But, she gets a lot of the dreams. And if she calls me up and says, Mom, I had a dream, I'll say, let me get some coffee and sit down because
Hmm.
I know, okay, this is going to be something. But it was like you were saying, sometimes it's something very, for
Doesn't
instance,
have to be like like 9/11. It doesn't have
right,
to be big and horrible. It could be
right,
something for some reason is very important, like going back to the dead battery thing in the car.
right.
That seems kind of benign. It's a pain in the neck, but it's benign. But there might be a bigger reason why you needed to know
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
stopping you from being in another place that might, there's all it's that weird universe stuff that if you go too
Hmm.
far down that rabbit hole, we'll be on here for 6 hours tonight. So we're not going to go there because I'm a
Right.
yapper.
Well, I'm just going to bring up one of Monica's dreams. Now, she called me up. My dog, Frederica, was pregnant. And Monica called and she said, Mom, I had this crazy, crazy dream. I don't think this means anything, but I had a dream that Frederica had her puppies, and there were like 7 of them, and they looked like little cows. Now,
Okay.
let me explain that Frederica was a beagle, a black and tan beagle. The father that got a hold of her was while I wasn't home and someone was babysitting, was a gray wolf.
Excuse
So,
me?
yes. So we have wolf and beagle.
That
And
had to have been a kind of an awkward coupling.
oh my God, I can't even go there. But Monica's, they look like little cows, but there were 7 of them and one got lost. So the interesting thing, she birthed at home like 2 days later, and she was circling around. One fell in the sack and everything. Behind, we had a big mattress out for her,
Hmm.
like a feather mattress. One fell behind there. Had Monica's dream not come back to me, we would have never looked. But,
Oh,
I thought,
um,
maybe
I,
I ought to
I
look
have
around.
I have to ask it. So, what does it sound like when it barks?
Well, none of them are alive anymore,
Oh, okay.
but I actually right now have a koi wolf who I've had for several years, and they yip, they don't bark.
Okay.
They sound
But
pretty funny.
beagles have a very distinctive sound.
Right, but
So
you
that was
mix
a really
that with a
weird sound.
wolf, yeah, it was really odd. But we had one puppy who survived there, that we kept, and her name was Lucky because we found
Mm,
her behind the mattress. Had we not found her, she would have died there. And
see,
she
in
lived
that
with
case,
us
that's
all
a
her
good
life.
thing. They're not all big and bad or gloom and doom. Hi,
Right.
Evie. Evelyn's in the house. Sorry.
Hi, Evelyn.
I love Evelyn. um, so, I haven't had any that were, you always have the dream of, my friend from California, I had a dream that he came to my door to say hi to me, and like 2 days later he did. I
Mhm.
guess that's kind of a mild one. Um,
Right.
Mine are usually like my most profound ones. I think the scariest one I ever had believe it or not, wasn't the 9/11. It was the Australian wildfires that happened right before COVID.
Ooh.
And
Ooh.
I actually posted something online, which is completely not like me. And I don't remember exactly what it said, but I had a friend screenshot it because I deleted it almost immediately because I don't do this online on my Facebook page. I don't like
Right.
throw things out there like I had this vision. I just don't do that stuff.
Right.
And I think I put something like there is a big fire coming and it's bad. And just the fact that I put that out there and then I went in and deleted it right away. And it was a big fire and it indeed was horrible. If anybody remembers that,
Right.
we've all been scarred
Right.
from the COVID thing that happened shortly thereafter. But that was like the most devastating footage I think I've ever seen. And I knew it was Australia. So
See,
my
that's
checkers knew that I wasn't, that one, unfortunately, I was right on.
right.
I wouldn't sit
So,
here and call myself, I'm not doing this again. I don't have these all the time. This is just very particular things.
well, I don't know. Your solstice sister seems to have
She's one of
popped
my
in.
she's the one that's not the skeptic. She's the one that I check in with.
Hi,
Thank you,
Christina.
Christina.
Yes.
She probably remembers more of them than I do.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, I would say if anybody has even a few of these, they need to really pay attention to dreams. Now, when this is going on, because you have more than I do, do you recognize that it means more than like a regular dream?
oh,
Do
it's
you
nothing
know
like
that?
a dream. Yeah,
Okay.
because it's so the ones where I'm awake, like I said, like pretend you're in a grocery store, okay? So I'm going through the grocery store and I'll just get blindsided. And it feels like I'm looking at it longer than I probably am. It's probably 10 seconds, 15 seconds, maybe not even that long. But in that time, I'm seeing what it is. So, like if a building comes down, or the 9/11 case, that one,
Mm-hmm.
uh, or fire, and I knew it was Australia. I think there's been earthquakes at the wazoo, and I'm particularly sensitive to seismic stuff. So, volcanoes, earthquakes, that kind of stuff. I don't know why. I mean, I live in Wisconsin. We don't have a lot of earthquakes here.
Right. But you're not a strictly Wisconsin prophetic dreamer.
No, not at all.
So
No, they take me all over the world. Unfortunately,
it's
I don't get to
quite
go.
global.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. At least I don't have to suffer jet lag. But
Right.
yeah, and they happen. I guess they happen more frequently now than they did like when I was a kid and up until like I don't know. I just feel like there's certain skills, if that's what you want to call them, or whatever happens with us. There's certain things that it like ebbs and flows. So like I might like
Mm-hmm.
dip down and like maybe I'm not getting as much mediumship stuff, but I'm cycling up in somewhere else, and then it will go
Mm-hmm.
drop back down, and it's a cycle, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
always consistently there. But this prophetic stuff, these seismic and that kind of stuff has been more prevalent since right before COVID.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Interesting, because that was a global crisis.
Oh, I cried for months before COVID hit. I knew something
Mhm.
was happening and I
Yeah.
couldn't. I think a lot
Mm-hmm.
of us were that way. That wasn't
Right.
being a
Yeah.
prophetic dreamer. That was just
Being sensitive.
feeling
Mm-hmm.
something coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I,
So
I remember many of us talked about that, we knew something was coming. We knew something was off. We knew it was going to be devastating, but could we, most of us couldn't say exactly what it was.
yep. Yeah.
So,
It
um,
was. Ugh.
yeah.
So
But one
um
of the puzzling things to me, because my daughter has always asked me, when she was younger, why do I have these? Well, I don't know. That's part of your abilities. I don't get them as much. I get a lot more in my waking time, probably because I meditate too much. Um, but
and I don't.
she gets real frustrated, and I know others who do too, who say, I get these. I don't know why I get these. And what the hell am I supposed to do with it? Because
you can't really tell people. So like, I'm going to go back to
exactly.
Australian wildfire. Okay, there's going to be a giant fire in Australia. Hello, Australian government. This is Dana Stricker in Wisconsin, USA.
Right.
They're going to be like, whatever, lady, go put a shrimp on a Barbie or something by, stuff. They're not
Right.
going to listen to you. Or like,
Mhm.
hello, New York. I just saw an airplane fully intact, by the way. It was not burning or anything like that, sitting in the middle of your Grand Avenue there with all the skyscrapers. Just FYI, what are they going to do with that?
Yeah. Exactly. So, why do you think? I mean, I know I've racked my brain. We all have. Why do we get these when there's nothing we can do? I
Because
mean, even
maybe
with
down the
visions and
line,
stuff.
there's going to be a point where we have to be empathetic towards something like that, or we're going to be meeting somebody that actually experienced what we saw. That's what I think.
Okay.
Maybe not. Maybe it's just part of this experience. I
Right.
wish I knew.
Hmm.
I'd gladly not have this, because it's like a thunderclap when you're awake,
Hmm.
and it does affect you, like, because it's kind of like, what is this me that it's going to happen to? Is this, am I going somewhere and it's going to happen when I'm there? You always want to attribute it to yourself, because that's part of how we all work. Is it warning me specifically, or is it just going to happen
Right.
somewhere else?
Right. Robert
Like
makes
a
a,
couple.
a good point here, I think.
So he is saying, I think you all can see the screen, right? I don't have to read that out loud. Maybe it's just because our mind and energy has realized to some degree that time is irrelevant, that these events will happen. Very true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very true.
Somehow, for some reason, people do get these. And I know Robert well, and I know he gets many, but he gets a lot of information in dream time.
And I
And
know people
as
that
my
do.
daughter does.
Right, right. And see, I don't really. I mean,
Mhm.
on a normal night, I don't remember my dreams. I'm like everybody else. I'm not saying that I'm getting all these things coming in. What I am saying is, when they do come in, they come in hard.
Right, right. And
And
it probably, like I said, I don't normally, like the Ukraine one, I knew it was bad, things like that. It ate
mhm,
at me. I was physically sick,
mhm.
but because I didn't really know exactly what was going on, I guess
Well,
it rocked me, but it didn't knock me off my feet because
right.
I don't get them all the time. So I didn't even know, was this a bad dream or was it something that's really happening?
One of the weird ones that I had, and I sort of have a connection, but not really have a connection, and I'll explain that in a minute. But JFK Jr., when his plane crashed,
Hmm.
I dreamt about that crash before I knew it happened. So when I woke up in the morning and turned the TV on, it was on. But I had a dream the night before. Didn't see JFK Jr. I'm not going to say I saw him, but I saw this airplane in the water, and it was upside down. And I saw blonde hair in the water like this. And I don't know why. I can't remember. My ex-husband would be the documentarian here. I can't remember everything I said, and he has since passed, so I can't ask him. But there was some kind of an affiliation I felt with my dad, and I couldn't figure that part out, because my dad was in a nursing home at that point and quite ill. He wasn't going to be flying anywhere. Long story short, I kept saying, they're going to find them upside down. They're going to find them upside down, because if you recall, it was quite a while ago. They couldn't find the plane. And I kept seeing this hair, which turned out to be his wife with the long blonde hair, JFK Jr. So when I turned on the TV and I saw the plane crash that a plane was missing and it was his, I automatically knew that was probably what I had seen. But the weird part of the whole thing is, why would I be dreaming about that? Like, why am I dreaming about JFK Jr.'s plane? I don't. And the only thing I can figure out is, and this is one of those stories that people are probably going to go, what? So my dad was a Marine, okay? And he served under JFK. He was a presidential guard for JFK. So he
Oh.
spent a lot of time with JFK because my dad was an Irish Catholic, as was he. My dad was at the White House. I have proof of pictures and all that.
Mm-hmm.
All I can think of is maybe my dad was trying to tell me where he was because he knew him as a little tiny boy.
Right.
And he used to share his peanut butter jelly sandwich with him outside. And, he was a tiny kid. He would not know my dad. I'm not saying that.
Right. But there
My
was a
dad had a
connection.
close connection with his father. So
Right.
it makes me wonder if maybe in some weird way, my dad was involved, but my dad was still alive at that time. But still, I don't know how that stuff works. And indeed, they found them upside down. That's the point of the exercise there. I don't know if that's really a prophetic dream. It kind of felt like one because I had it. I just didn't know how it all connected, and I still haven't quite figured that out. All I can tell you is that it happened. So,
right.
I guess that's sort of prophetic or something like that. But that shows me that somebody is trying to tell me this, maybe to tell my dad. I don't know. I think my dad was gone. I think my dad was still alive at that point. I could be wrong. I don't remember what year it was. It was relatively in the area right before he died, if it wasn't after that. I don't remember.
Right. But we do know that we are all soul.
Yeah.
And, whether our dense human, body is living or not living, that soul. So he was in a nursing home. He could have easily still helped with soul work.
But again, that's one of those instances of, okay, fine. Some crazy lady from Wisconsin is calling the white or, the authorities in Maine or wherever he went down. Yeah, he's upside down. It's really helpful. It still doesn't tell where he is,
Right.
but they did indeed find them upside down. And that's when I think my ex-husband finally started listening to me.
Right. And Evelyn agrees. And hi, Terry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it would be freaky being in an airport at that time or getting on a plane for sure.
It's got a certain, the poor Kennedy family, not poor actually, because a lot of them are really not very nice, but that's almost like a family curse thing going on there. They all died in terrible ways.
Yeah.
Except for the daughter who's still alive, but that's about it. So
Right.
But those are the kind of things, again, Christina knows more. I don't know if Christina's still on here. She's documented my stuff for me for the last couple of years because I have to have that. So if anybody out there listening is having this type of thing happen, even if you don't want to put a whole lot of stock into it or whatever, I would still get someone that you trust. You don't have to get two. I get two because I'm wacko. I'm kind of neurotic that way. But have somebody that's not related and isn't going to judge you on it, just to write it down so you can check yourself. That's my cousin. Hi, Donna Lynn.
Hi, Donna Lynn.
She's in Pennsylvania. Oh, no, you moved to Virginia, I think, or West Virginia. I don't remember. Pretty sure.
Somewhere.
Okay, Christina she must have the notes out. This is why I like Christina doing it.
So she documents and checks and
yes. I think a lot of the times it happens faster than 90 days, but sometimes it is a little bit longer. And again, there's no rhyme or reason, and I'm not having them over and over again. It's like a one-shot deal.
And, Robert made the point, I'm having a hard time not calling him Bobby because he's my Bobby, but he made the point, there's a time element here too, and there really is no time. So whether it's 90 days, 90 minutes, it's all the same. And that kind of takes me to the shamanic part of myself where I say, in the dream time, all things there's a whole different world, and we
Yeah.
can tap into things. It doesn't always mean, and it can be that the time can be totally, sometimes in shamanic work, we can see things that happened 2,000 years ago or possibly 2,000 years from now. So time
I think I
doesn't
will
exist
let
there.
you keep the shamanic work stuff because I would drive myself insane if I was seeing things from 2,000 years ago. Just
Yes.
saying.
Yes.
I'm
Well,
staying in my
I'm just
lane.
saying that the whole dream thing, the whole sleep, when the physical body is at rest.
Yeah.
Now you get some when you're awake,
Yeah. When I'm
but
like
that's
doing dishes or something, it's like
mhm,
boom in the
right.
side of the head, like, whoa,
Mhm. But
automatically
it's
get on with Christina and my other person. Like,
yeah.
and
Um,
it's very brief little things. I'm happy you're on here too, Donna. And it was
yes,
Russ.
me
I was
too.
right. She moved to West Virginia, so
Beautiful, beautiful
it
place.
hasn't failed me yet.
We might have to go visit her. It's
We
so
should
pretty
go
there.
visit her.
Yes.
I want to go see
Yes.
the Mothman statue, man.
Oh, let's go. Except I
Not
think
been
a
there
lot
yet.
of times the Mothman Festival is right around the same time as our Michigan UFO contact.
Well, then we can't do that.
Right. We'll
But
have to we'll have to check that
we
out.
can always do a side field trip type thing.
Okay.
We'll stop
We
and
can do
pick up
that. Cool
Christina
stuff.
on our way. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I would love that. I would love that. No, I just brought that up because of I do have an interest in the whole dream time, and I
Mhm.
think that it's amazing. You and I were talking before the show, and you were talking about, I don't even know if I should bring this up, but the biblical side of this.
Yes.
And I
So,
mean, this is something that's been around for a long, long time. So, can
so
you fill people in on that?
yeah, a little bit. And I'm not going to like dive into it because if anybody that knows me, they know that I was brought up in a household. My dad was Irish Catholic.
Hmm.
So, even so, I didn't have to go to church because of my dad was Irish Catholic, like scars on his knuckles from the nuns, Irish Catholic. So he didn't want us girls, my sister and we got to choose what we did. Okay.
Hmm.
I didn't fall into that category. I am not dissing them. It's just not for me. Um, but a lot of people always like to be almost like the stuff that I do is against the Bible or whatever. And again, I will say it, I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. I am not calling myself a prophet. I would never dream to call myself a prophet. The reason we're using the term prophetic dreams is because that is a term that is used to describe this stuff.
Hmm.
So, prophets are in the Bible all over the place. And
And
believe it or not, so are witches and so are psychics.
right. And what prophets, their visions then are the same as what we
Famine,
talk about. Yeah.
war, blah, blah. I mean, I think the coming of Jesus, there's a lot of them out there. And again, I'm not as well versed in that, nor why would I be? I didn't have a church experience like that, an organized religion experience
Hmm.
like that to compare it. I know the basics,
Right.
but I know for a fact that they're in the Bible.
Hmm.
So,
So this isn't something, we hear it all the time. Oh, that's new age stuff. Even mediumship.
yeah,
Oh, it's new age.
yeah,
There's
it's not new age.
nothing new. It's, most of this is way older than
Mhm.
even most religions.
Yeah,
And I'll just leave it at that. So
that's
we don't get
okay.
ourselves in trouble. But,
Not
you
really
know,
getting ourselves in trouble because it's the truth.
we
It's
call ourselves Get Real because Dana and I can't help but, just
I
spew the
am what
truth
I am,
sometimes.
man. I'll say it like I see it. If I'm
That's all
wrong, I will
right.
apologize to you. But
Hmm. Yeah,
I just think it's how you view things.
right.
And what works for you is what's important. It doesn't have to work for everybody else. And
It's a
guess
good
what?
point.
He's the same God that made you, made us. I didn't ask to have this. Deb didn't ask to have this. Somebody gave it to us. And he's not this guy.
Right.
Not
No,
that I know
because
of. Yeah.
you
Um,
know we both get attacked at times. And I can say for a fact, I battled this. I'm not young. I battled it for many years. And what we do helps people when
Right.
we are that middle person
Mm-hmm.
who connects people with on this side to people on the other side.
Right.
That's not a bad thing. That is not an evil thing. That is helping us all to see that life is forever. It doesn't end.
I once wrote a poem. I know it's really scary, and don't worry, I'm not going to recite the whole
I wish you would.
poem.
I love poetry.
But basically, one of the lines was, all of these wars that happen and such with religion. It's like, when you die, which side of heaven are you going to pick? Because I don't think there's more than one.
Right.
So it's important to remember that not everybody's going to believe what you believe, but that doesn't make them bad either. So
Right.
it's not
Right.
preaching. It's not Sunday. Let's talk about something else.
I just want to give a couple comments up here. Dreamtime walks outside of Dreamtime, and that is so true. And hi, Stacy. So good.
Time is something we made. These
Exactly.
bodies
It's a
are
very
time.
earthly
It is.
thing. Right. Right.
It is.
And because you and I, on Voices of Contact and Michigan UFO Contact and all of these other things, don't deal with total Earth stuff, we get that.
I'm still holding on to the fact that I am an earthling until I have that regression. I'm a chicken.
You are. You're so
Oh, thank you, Sandra. You're
Sandra, we love you. Thank you.
I absolutely love that picture of her, by the way.
I know. She's so cute. She's so cute. And every time I see her, I just can't wait to hug her. I just love her to pieces.
So if
And-
anybody out there has anything they want to share or another question, fire up the chat, because I wanted to leave enough time. We've got about 15 minutes left. This is pretty heady stuff, and I could sit here and rattle off like other tales of things that have happened, and Deb could probably think of a few she's had or her daughter's had or whatever. But I think if you're experiencing things like this, or you've had things like this happen, I don't think I think they're not geared to scare you, even though they can be very scary. But there is something to be worth writing them down. There's something to be said about finding somebody to document them for you, so you're not nuts. Because I think that's something that's universal when we have things like that happen. The first thing you do is question yourself. At least I did. I don't anymore, only because of everything else.
Right.
But I don't want to know that there's an earthquake coming in Japan. I don't want to know that Mexico's got one coming. Do you think I want to know that? I don't want to know that. But I know that. And what am I going to do about that? There's absolutely nothing I can do about it.
Yeah. But I think you hit the nail on the head, Dana. And a lot of the reason that you and I do what we do, and this whole everything we do is, we're the voice, and it's to help people realize you're not crazy.
No, and just because, Deb was saying about her daughter, she doesn't want to, probably doesn't want to sit there and do readings on people. Just because, you can be the best psychic medium on the face of planet Earth and not do readings on people. You don't have to hang a shingle up and tell everybody you're that way. I think it's basically meant to help yourself, to help your family, to help those close to you. You can't take on the worldwide tragedies because no one's going to believe you, number one.
Right.
It's a fast ticket into the ward, the psych ward. But
yeah, it's not for everybody to come out and do what we do. And Christina makes some great points here too. I think Christina, in the little bit of time I've talked to her, is very intuitive.
Yeah.
And I know her healing work.
Yeah.
I know her healing work. She also gets things there. So, you know, you can call us psychics and call us names, but you're one of us. But what we all decide to do, like you made the comment earlier, and I love it. I have to do me.
Yeah.
And that's what we're saying is everybody has to be who you are and do what you feel is right with any information you get. You know, if you get real-time information on somebody, um, Teresa, well, I probably shouldn't say names, but what was Long Island Media?
Yeah.
That show, you know, she would run up to people in a store. It was all produced. It was all for entertainment. Not that she's not a medium,
Right.
but
Because she
you
is, I
know,
think. Yeah. I think,
if we
yeah.
if we as mediums were running around in stores and bowling alleys and things like that, saying, "Oh my God, this," you know,
My son would kill
can
me if
you
I did.
imagine?
No.
That's not number one. It's not ethical. It's not the right thing to do. So oftentimes, we get information that you don't do anything with, and you're not really supposed to. But
For some
some of us
reason, you
get
need to
it
know it.
anyways.
That's
Right.
all this as far as it goes. Evelyn lives in California, so she just said this, which is really interesting. So not, that because she actually lives in California, Evelyn, you might be picking up on something even deeper than that because you're where they happen. So that might be
Right.
something you're literally getting through your feet, that
Mm-hmm.
you're highly sensitive to that particular thing
Mm-hmm.
too.
And
Which is
energy, possibly.
that's another avenue of that,
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. And Robert. Oh, I know this one. I know that. There's
Sometimes
nothing.
family doesn't believe either, and then what you told them happens, they get mad, right?
That's
And
not
that can
on you
go
though, because if it was about them and you told them and it happened, they can't say you didn't warn them.
right,
So
right.
them getting angry with you is more than likely a fear response to that you
Mm-hmm.
gave that information before. So if you look
Right,
at it as they're just afraid, it's not really anger, it's fear.
right. And you know, I know him, and I know that sometimes when we get information for people that we really love,
Mm-hmm.
we do feel a lot more obligated to tell that person.
Well, yeah.
So, you know, when it's family, how do you not say something? And knowing they're going to be angry, but
With
you
the
do it
health stuff
anyway.
that I get on people, I don't expect people to schedule an appointment with me. So I don't like reach out and go, I picked up something on you. You need to come and see me. No, I'll like pick up the phone and be like, dude, this is going on. You better get it checked. Because
Call your
why would I
doctor.
do that for somebody I know that's a friend or something? Why would I charge them money for it's not
Hmm.
like they're coming involuntarily or ask me for anything. I get it spontaneously. That's
Right.
not for me, that's for them.
Hmm. And that's what being a medium is. We're that middle person between the realms and comes with big responsibility.
Oh, we're
So
getting all
hi to
kinds of
my hubby.
hi RJ, the
I,
wizard.
how do you tell them that you know when a specific person close to them is going to pass without the disbelief or fear?
Number one, don't tell them they're going to pass. But number two, I would say something. This is what I do. How is so and so doing? Have you talked to so and so lately? You might want to call so and so and see how they're doing
Right.
because you can't, you know, you might know somewhere in your heart of hearts that that person might be passing shortly, but we're also not God. So we don't
Right.
know that positively. So you don't want
Hmm.
to put that out in the universe. You might really strongly feel it and you might be 100% right, but it's not really for us to say
Hmm.
this is going to happen. I hope
Right.
that I'm not trying to sound snotty. I'm just being like, that's
Yeah.
what I would do, or that's what I have done.
And you kind of, for me, I have to say, for me, I would go case by case. It would depend. on who it was, what was going on, if they were expecting it.
Circumstantially, yes.
But I do tell people I don't do death readings because, how many of us know people who the doctor said they've got 4 months and they live for,
You're looking
for
at
3
one.
years.
I was supposed to be dead 7
Exactly.
years ago.
And in
Surprise!
2007, I had less than 6 months to live.
So
I was
both of
diagnosed
us.
with cancer. So, right, you don't know. But people have free will. People have. I've always been a firm believer that we do have different outs, and sometimes that window is open, and if somebody wants to cross at that time, they can, but they don't have to. And we know people who just are very strong-willed and say, "Nope, I'm going to heal." So yeah, it's something you have to. That's a tread lightly one. Tread lightly.
I've been doing this so long. I mean, that's just the way. I have made mistakes. Obviously, I started when I was 15. I wasn't always saying the right things right away as far as how I handled certain information. But that's how I do it now. Let's put it that way. I like this comment.
Yeah. Maybe those big world events you see is like learning to write. First you print and move on to cursive. The little closer to home things. I don't often remember my dreams, but I get deja vu stuff a lot.
Deja vu is so weird.
Yeah.
Everybody gets deja vu at some point, and it's such a weird feeling.
It is. And I think it's because, for me, my feelings are there's more than one reality that we're living in.
That's what I've come to terms with, too, is like we're doing this sort of similarly in 2 or 3 other places, if not more, at the same time. But that gets into the whole science thing, and I was like a C student at best in science, so I'm not the one to talk to about it. I think quantum physics has parts of that, but
yeah.
That's
we're
not
more
really
like
house right there.
Yeah. We'll take the information that we get, but when it comes to giving you, the whole quantum physics breakdown, no, that's not us.
Right.
Not us. So Robert says it's happened to him 3 times already. So that might be my thinking, and I think I've said to him before, that might be just, one of his strong abilities is getting that information before someone passes that they are going to pass.
Right.
And that does happen, it's kind of sucky, but there are people who we all have a different role.
Right. And my cousin Donna just commented that she believes in it wholeheartedly. And I'll say to Donna, of course you do, honey, your family. Somebody in our family's got it besides me. So
right. Yeah.
I'm not the only one out there.
Stacy, yes, I heard the different realities.
Stacy needs to write a book with these little things.
I know. We bump into a different. Yeah.
I like it.
They do combine. They do combine.
See,
I think some of our
say, so we should say, hey, we need something that says this. She could write it more neatly than I can speak it. We get a lot more time to talk then because I wouldn't be babbling. But
yeah. And it's, that's why I love doing shows like this with you, Dana, because people feel free to give their truth too.
Well, it's because everybody should be, because I think everybody's got something like this. I don't care what other people might say. And I don't think it's a practiced thing. I think it's natural to us as human beings. It's part of what we are. We have to have that gut instinct. We have to have that survival instinct. When it boils down at the end of the day, survival instinct is a form of psychic ability.
Right.
And we've had it, and if we didn't have that survival instinct, we would not be here right now. We would all be eaten by T-Rexes or something at some point. Or the aliens, we won't get into that tonight. But
yeah, that's Friday nights. Well, and Thursday nights. Sometimes
and I've been on, for those who've missed this is my 3rd day in a row on with Deb Druce. Like 3 days in a row. Somebody called it the Dana trifecta.
Yes, Dana was our guest Thursday night on Mystical Awakenings Radio. And then Dana is now the full-time panelist
Yes,
co-host on The Voices of Contact.
it
So,
is. And
and that
for
was
those that
last.
haven't listened to that one, that's a mind rip too.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
That's
And
people who have had regressions that have had alien abduction or types of experience.
contact. We just call it
Contact. We'll call it contact because
abduction.
abduction is a
Sounds
bad
so,
word.
yeah.
But it's
I mean,
it's
so
interesting stuff. And now I'm on with this. So believe me when I say I really am not thinking I'm all that and I'm everything in all the paranormal because I certainly am not. But these particular things seem to stick to me that we talk about here.
Well, and
So,
we need all of us need people who are willing to speak out and talk about
mhm.
these things. How many people have dreams like this and just don't talk to anybody because they think, God, if I told anybody I had this
They're
kind
gonna
of dream,
think I'm crazy. They're gonna think I'm
they're
nuts.
going to put me in meditation or something. So, you're important. Your voice is important. So I thank you. Evelyn needs a schedule.
Yes, Evelyn, you know where to find me, honey.
So every Friday.
Funniest lady ever. I love her. And my friend Kim has had a necklace that's been swinging, and she thinks it has to do with me. And
Really?
unbeknownst to most of you, my mother lives with me. She's 84, and she fell Monday, and she currently looks like the Hamburglar. If you're familiar with the mask,
I saw the
only she's
photo. It broke my
all
heart.
bruised. Yeah, she's okay. I think she might have broken her arm a little bit. We're going in soon for another X-ray. So,
If you can talk her into it.
well, you know what? There's a thing called chloroform where
Yeah.
I might just
Okay.
give her a
Sure.
little snoot of that,
You're
and
so all talk. You're all talk.
she'd hurt me with that cane she carries too. By the way, she will likely be in Michigan with me at the Paracon. Pray for me.
Yes. I'm excited. So I'd say that all of your friends,
Mhm,
myself included,
mhm.
when I can, should take turns entertaining Mom at Paracon.
She'll probably entertain you. Just be
She
careful
will.
because there's certain guys that she really likes, if you know what I'm saying. The woman has no filter. Um, so I take no
You had to
responsibility
get it from
whatsoever
somewhere.
from things that she has done at past Paracons. Thank you very much.
We
Not my
love you,
influence.
Mom. We
She's
love you,
funny.
Mom. Yeah.
Yeah, watch out, RJ. You're gonna want to.
I
That's
know.
her in
That's
your
funny
back. I
because I was
Karen.
thinking about that. She is gonna so love RJ, and he's great with
She's
him.
gonna tell him he looks like a wizard because
Yeah,
that's what she'll do, and he does kind of. So that's fair.
he does
Oh,
absolutely.
Lee, a lady that knows my mom, says she loves Karen.
See, and is Lee going to be at Paracon?
Lee is not. Lee lives in my hometown. I could cart Lee up there with me, probably.
Come on, Lee. I think that everybody should come to Paracon this year.
Well, that's what it sounds like, but I'm
Mhm.
still holding down the hope that something else occurs. That I'm speaking cryptically because I have to.
Right. Yes. We're being careful.
Because we
It's
love
not
that Brad
easy
Blair,
for
man.
Deb and Dana to do, is it?
We love Brad Blair.
Yes,
If
we
you're
do.
listening,
And Tim
Brad Blair, we
Ellis.
love you.
Brad Blair. I can't even say it.
Blad Blair.
Blatz.
It's better than
Blatz wants to come out.
Blad the Impaler.
But there's also Tim and all the other guys and
Yes,
Steve and
obviously.
the whole UPPRS team,
Mhm.
the Travel Bureau. Those guys, they're so awesome.
They're a
And
bunch of Youper ghost hunters, guys.
they are,
I love Michigan.
and they're like our family.
Hmm
We go up there and just have a great time.
A lot of my
We
friends
talk
live
about
in
all of
the
this.
Michigan state. That's for
Mhm.
sure.
You could
A
move
lot of my
here.
relatives live there.
You
That's
could
far away.
move here.
You never know.
You never know. We could start
Pull it up in
looking
my
for
hippie
right
van and I'll live in a tent in your backyard half the
now.
year.
Hey, I've got a tent right outside this window right here, right now. It's a huge
Oh,
greenhouse.
that's
And
right.
when I
That's
was
the one that you
standing in
need
it
blocks
today,
for.
uh
He needs cement blocks to hold it
oh my
down.
God, dude, I have her 3 times today. I had to run out and pull this thing back down, and I'm trying to secure it because the wind's going to blow it away. And it's a great big greenhouse. You could actually make rooms and live in this thing.
See,
It's
I
by
could
our
live in the
store.
greenhouse thing.
You
Christina's
can live in
saying
the greenhouse.
she's moving to Tennessee. That's where Christina lives.
Christina, you're welcome, honey, to move to Michigan. I love
Yeah.
Tennessee.
She has
You know,
grandbabies. She can't move to Michigan.
oh, I get that. I have past life history in Tennessee because when I go there, I always feel like I'm going home.
Oh, interesting.
And I love it. It's beautiful. But
I
they do
love
have
where Christina
spiders that I don't do. You love what?
I love where she lives. Like I love you look out her kitchen window and you see the mountains. It's just she's just got a cool place. And she's got this little cabin that I do. Um
Oh, we have a
you know,
battle going on
oh,
now.
we're having a fight. Got a fight over Dana. Woo! Kim's been knowing me since first grade, so just going
We're
by
in trouble.
seniority, she's gonna win.
So we have actually gone 3 minutes over our time.
Woo! Okay. See?
Do we, Dana? Do you have final words that you want to leave with anybody about any of
Final
this?
words are if you are having prophetic type dreams, and if you're uncomfortable using the word prophetic, just call them visions, visionary dreams, visions. Write them down.
Hmm.
I would also make sure to tell another party. It doesn't have to be like I'm kind of a nut job with it. You can just find one person that you trust to write down when you said it. That way when it happens, or doesn't happen, whatever. But if it does happen, you can look at that. That will validate you. When you get validated like that, you'll learn to trust yourself more. And that's what this is all about. Because we're
Yeah,
all getting messages all the time. Just not everybody's listening. And you're not trusting your
right,
gut. And you really need to trust your gut.
right.
I sound like I'm
Absolutely.
lecturing everybody, but I kind of
Well
am.
said. No, no, I think that it's important that we get that out there. Trust your gut. Do you, when you get this information, and I think it's good to share it with other people
Mhm.
because on a bigger scale, if many people are getting the same thing,
Right. That's
it,
another one that happened to me that we don't have time for me to tell. That was really crazy. A particular landmark ballroom burned down right after a paracon was held there. And almost every psychic medium in that place smelled smoke, including me, and said it to each other, and it burned down a week later.
oh my gosh.
Chicago.
Now, did anyone say it to the owner?
I am not sure about the owner, but amongst ourselves, we were like, I'm smelling smoke. Why are we smelling smoke? I remember I smelled it in the bathroom. Some other people smelled it out in the other area. It was a ballroom that had been there for quite a while. Um,
Wow.
Resurrection Mary, if anybody's heard of Resurrection Mary, that's the ballroom she was reportedly leaving when she got hit by a car. Resurrection Mary is a big ghost story in Chicago. And it's gone.
There's a
The whole
lot of para stuff in Chicago.
you Yeah, there is.
You know.
Wisconsin too. I think everywhere
Oh, yeah.
has it.
Well, but if you think about it around the Great Lakes, I mean, even though Chicago, yeah. Anyways, we're out of time, so
We're over.
that's a
We'll have
whole
another
different
show. We'll
show.
talk about this more. All right.
Stay tuned because we
Thank you,
never know
everybody, for listening.
when it's going to be. We love you all.
Yeah, we're
Stay
not like on
real.
a schedule, so we kind of we'll fly it up like a day or two before we're doing it, just because of the way
Right.
things go. But
Yeah, because we're both insane and insanely busy, but we love you all.
yes, we
Good
do.
night, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.